Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Maslow's hierarchy. And if you haven't heard of it, it's actually a human psychology theory that explains the different hierarchy of needs that people need to have met before they can meet the higher ones. But it does translate to animals, especially the first few, because a lot of the rescue animals and animals with behavioral problems, I find that they're lacking something on one of the bottom levels, and that's contributing to them not being able to move forward. So I'm just going to explain. It's actually like an actual triangle, and the bottom is physiological. So these are things like getting enough meals per day, getting the right nutrition, making sure they're warm and things like that. Fresh water. A lot of them, they get their water changed every 5 days or something. Good morning, Monica. And unless those needs are met, especially for rescue animals, which is why a lot of them, food and water are their priority, and safety actually comes after those things. They would rather risk getting food and water than worrying about being safe, because they can't physically survive without food and water. So this is a very base survival level. If they don't have these things met, they can't really worry about the other things, because they're, base level survival, that always comes first, just like our root chakra. It's at the very bottom, and it has to do with things like survival and safety, and we can't worry about anything else if we're worried about where are we going to sleep tonight, what are we going to do, where is our next meal going to come from, all of that. And then behavioral problems tend to stem because they can't expend energy to physically work on those things. Level 2 is safety, which for most of us just means having a roof over our head and somewhere safe to sleep. But some of us, it's more being in an environment that's safe, where we feel safe to be able to say things and do things without judgment and things like that. But for animals, it's more, can I be in this home and nobody's going to hurt me physically or emotionally or anything like that? Are they going to care for me in a way that makes me feel safe? Am I constantly worried about something, or my food being taken away if I do something bad, or am I worried that they're going to forget to change my water or something like that? But again, it comes down to, is this home that I am in safe? Do weird people come in all the time and they don't worry about introducing me to them? Do they lock me away when some people come in because they're worried that the people aren't going to like me, and then they don't feel safe in their own environment because they never know when they're going to have to, be shut in a room, and they don't always understand why, because most pet parents aren't good at communicating that. So that's important. The third level is intimacy in relationships. This also includes friendships. But again, if the animals don't feel a sense of belonging in the house, maybe they're the latest pet and there's already 2 other pets in the house, so they feel like, all the love in the house is for those 2, and they're just kind of like an add-on. So sometimes the animals need to be coaxed through that. Animals that have other animal friends, this is important too, because if they don't have at least a handful of strong bonds with other animals, sometimes they exhibit depressive-like behaviors, where they're really lethargic and they don't feel like going outside, or maybe they don't even want to go for a walk because, the dogs out there, they just assume that nobody likes them, which is really sad. It breaks my heart, because Kai used to get along with all the other dogs out there, and now I have to watch all of her interactions just in case, because she's really sensitive to face-on-face dog greetings. But if you take her to a dog she already knows, she gets so excited that it just warms my heart. So it's good that she still has those, and we're working on making her some new friends. But in the meantime, that belongingness is really important, especially with the owner. So if big things are going on in the owner's life, then they may want to be part of that, or they may not understand what's going on. So if you have a fight with someone significant in your life and they're, physically not present for that, then they may not understand what's going on because your energy will be very different when you get back. So just being aware of including them in things like that, because the relationship we have with our pets is really important. And for a lot of them, we are the only main relationship in their life. So if we don't take care and nurture that, then that's leaving them at a deficit, because they're missing out on that strong connection, which actually makes a lot of pets physically and emotionally stronger. So something to keep in mind. The fourth level is a feeling of accomplishment. So this is things like self-esteem, training. A lot of people are surprised because their animals have difficulty when it comes to either learning something the first time or retaining the information. But if your pet doesn't have all the other needs met, meaning they have intimate relationships and they're comfortable in their house and they get fresh food, water, exercise, all of that, then they're going to have a really hard time remembering and learning the information. So one trick that I learned when I was training Kaya is to take her for a walk first so that she's a little bit more tired, so that her attention span may be a little bit shorter, but she's tired enough that she'll kind of go along with it. And it actually works out quite well because Australian Shepherds are a very hyper breed, and if you don't tire them out first, they just want to zoom everywhere. So it's important when you're training, especially for animals in competitive sports, things like horse jumping, dressage, agility, any of that stuff. How old is she? Kaya is going to be 4 in July. I can't believe it. But we did agility with her, and it is both mental and physical exercise at the same time. But we have to make sure she was fed before, and we had to take lots of fresh water with us, and it was a new environment, so we had to walk her around and make sure she was okay with it, and there was a whole bunch of other dogs there, so we had to greet each of them one by one and make sure she was okay with them, because going into a new space and doing something new, and that's a lot of challenge and stress on them, so we want to make the transition as easy as possible. Again, if you have a horse and you're doing something like dressage, if they've never done it before, showing them the ring or having them watch other horses that do dressage, I know it sounds kind of strange, but they're learning what they're supposed to do. Even if they don't know how to do it yet, they can see and observe and learn that way. Because in the wild, that is how animals learn, by watching others. Especially those that are better at something than them, that's how they learn to get better at it. So, something to consider. But a lot of animals feel a sense of accomplishment when they do something like learn a new obstacle in agility, or learn a new command like lay down or roll over or something like that. So it's really nice to see. But again, you have to have those other needs met first. So if you are struggling or your pet is struggling with training, try this. If it doesn't work for you, I'd be happy to work with you. Just send me a message. The fifth and final top of the triangle is potential creative activity, which this is written for humans, but for us it's more self-actualization. For animals, I feel like it's more just a sense of they know where they're going in their life and they know what they're meant to do. Because since I took animal communication, I have a little more knowledge about this. But animals are a lot wiser than we are, and most of they're old souls. In the sense that they've done this a few times and they know what's going on. But they like to have purpose. And in the same way, we like to have jobs and have something to do every day. So do they. So even if, for example, my mom was gardening this weekend and Kaya likes to assist. I say that lightly. But she likes to assist when my mom's gardening. So I added that to her little list of jobs. See, she is the official squirrel hunter of our house. She is also the greeter at the front door. She's the gardener. She's my work assistant as well, but she likes to have things to do. So whenever we go to leave the house, we tell her, okay, you're in charge of guarding the house. So that most of the time she just has a nap when we're not home because it's finally quiet. But in those cases, she likes to have something to do because otherwise she just feels like she's getting left at home. But just make sure that they have something to do, because I find oftentimes it makes a big difference. If, for example, when I'm sick, Kyle will come and watch over me and things like that to make sure that I'm okay. Or after my car accident, she wouldn't leave my side for about 3 days because she was worried about me and I had to go to the hospital. Monica says, Willow likes to meditate with me. Isn't that crazy? But she really calms right down and is the only time she snuggles beside me. They are very sensitive to any kind of energy like that, especially the relaxation one, because I find I do walking meditations in the forest because that's my happy place, because I can't seem to do them here because there's too much going on. But when I'm out there, most of the time Kaya wanders fairly close to me, but when I meditate, she's, side by side with me, and they're just so happy to be in that energy, because whenever I do Reiki, I have to close my door because Kaya likes to come in, but usually when I'm done, I open it and she's laying, touching the door. She can't physically get any closer to the door just because they like to absorb all that energy. But even things like Monica's dog being part of that routine helps them a lot. So if you have things like meditation and that they're being included in that, it strengthens the bond that they have with you, but it also gives them a sense that they belong in their environment because they're taking part in things. So even if it's something like you're throwing your aunt's birthday party, just make sure that, they have something to do, even if it's something really simple, but they really like to be included. So to summarize, if they don't have the base needs, which are physiological and survival and exercise, they struggle to meet the other ones. So they may feel like they don't belong in the house, or they may feel like they don't have a purpose and they don't know what they're doing. Or their friendships will struggle, or they'll have difficulty making new ones. But all of that, this is psychology for humans, but I feel like it translates a lot more than we give it credit for, because I learned this in Psych 1001 or something in first year university, and it's still relevant because we can't focus on our creative stuff and our relationships and our purpose if we're worried about what are we going to eat or where are we going to sleep. So it's something to keep in mind. I hope that was informative. That's all I have to say for today. I don't remember what the topic is for next week, but I'm pretty sure I already did the research for it a month ago, so it'll be a surprise. I am teaching Reiki 2 this weekend, so I will be a little off the grid for the latter half of the week, but lots of new exciting things coming up. I can't wait to tell you about it. I have a couple meetings first, and then I can tell you things, and I'm really excited. So hopefully by next Tuesday, I will have information to share about that. But enjoy the rest of your week. It's going to be somewhat warm this week, and I will see you next week.